Yo, what is up everybody? It's your boy Audacity here, and today I'm going to be talking about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies, how I feel it's doing right now compared to other games at this point, like DLC wise, and just overall gameplay that the game is producing for us. Before we go into talking about the gameplay, I want to talk about the DLCs. So let's go with on launch, we only got one map, which was D Machine, and then we had to wait till February 4th to get the second, or the first technically DLC, which was Firebase Z. Following that, about a month later, we got Outbreak, which I really wouldn't consider a DLC. It was just an extra add-on, sort of like Dead Ops Arcade is. It's just made of a bunch of areas you can go to and just basically surviving. I really wouldn't consider it a map like we've gotten in the past, like normal DLC-wise. This is just like an add-on. I really don't think it's going to be a DLC map. But let's go look at some other CODs and the maps that they had on launch and also compared to where they were at in their game cycle. So right now, today is May 11th. And at this time on BO3, we had Shadows and Giant, which was released on launch. And then we were through the second DLC, which Horizon Drak was the first, and then Zetsubo Noshima was the second. And then let's also go look at BO4. BO4, we got 4 maps on launch. We got Classified, Voyage of Despair, Blood of the Dead, and 9. And then we also got Ancient Evil and Dead of the Night by this point during that game cycle. So if we're looking at this now, we have 4 maps for BO3 and 6 maps for BO4 compared to technically 2 maps we have right now in Cold War plus the side map, which is, or side game mode, which is Outbreak. Now I do remember at one point when they did say they were going to try and release a map each season, which each season is about 63 days, so they're going to be releasing a map every basically 2 months, which that got pushed back after I think the first map was supposed to come out. They pushed it back to the start of the next season, which was in February when we got Firebase Z, and it's been another season since then and we haven't gotten anything, so I think it's gonna be every other season what they're probably gonna go with. But the fact that we are still waiting on our third map when these other CODs had 4 maps or 6 maps right now, which from a content perspective there just isn't as much content as there's in the other games. Like with me, I'm not a whole big fan of Outbreak. I just can't consider myself playing Outbreak from hours upon hours every single day. I just don't find it that much enjoyable. But when it goes to me playing like D Machine and Firebase Z, going back and forth between those maps gets kind of old and boring. Like with the other games, I was able to go from one map to the next, could continue the rotation over and over again, and I could still have fun playing the game. With now, when you just go back and forth basically between those 2 maps regarding camos, it gets kind of repetitive and just annoying to the point where I don't play the game as much as I would if it was BO3 or BO4 at this time. If it was BO3 or BO4, I would be playing zombies constantly. Like, that's all I would play. I would just go from one map to the next. But with this, I gotta take my breaks because I get tired of going one game of Firebase Z and then going back to D Machine and then continuing the process over again. It just gets boring really fast. Now let's move on to the gameplay, and I'm just going to say right now, since launch they've added a bunch of stuff in which I can say is very good. They've fixed a lot of stuff that we were having problems with, like XP and leveling up. At launch it was very different from multiplayer. In multiplayer you could level up guns and level up in general way quicker than you could in zombies. It seems like as soon as you hit a certain round in zombies you could get 3 times as many kills as like you did on round 7, but you would level up your gun slower than you did on like round 7. They had a point where as soon as you hit like round 10 or something like that, the XP just took a nosedive down to where it would take you forever to level up guns and just level up in general. Another thing I think they did very well with was the skill system they had in this. They had it to tier 3 at launch, but then they added it to where that you could go up to tier 5, and I think that was a really cool thing that they did, to where it gave players a reward for getting to the higher rounds. The higher round you got, the more Ethereum crystals you got, the more rarity of the crystals, to where you could use that to make your survivability a little easier with those higher tiers that you could get. Another thing that I think they did very well with was DLC weapons. They had it before to where you could only really unlock DLC weapons through multiplayer, like they give you a certain challenge for each weapon, and you'd have to do that in multiplayer. But now they added it to where you could do challenges like that in zombies to unlock the weapons, which is amazing because you get those hardcore zombies players that really don't play multiplayer that much and they just stick with zombies. That gives them a chance to unlock the DLC weapons in zombies and level them up that way instead of having to go over to multiplayer and kill 15 enemies while crouched 3 times to unlock a certain weapon. Now they can do that exact same challenge in zombies, except for it'll be made more to zombie standards instead of multiplayer standards, to where it won't be super easy to unlock it like it would be if it was the exact same challenge like it was in multiplayer, which would be getting 3 kills while crouched 15 times. If they'd had zombies be too easy, they make it to the zombie standards to where it's not too easy, but it's not too hard. Overall, I think Cold War Zombies has taken a step in the right direction compared to what it was at launch. At launch, I played for a month and then got off the game because it was so repetitive. It was me doing the exact same thing over and over, just grinding camos on the same map. But now I do get a little bit more playability from going from one map to the other, making it a little bit more enjoyable. I just really hope soon that they do add a third map in to where make it a little bit more of a rotation for us Zombies players who are like grinding camo still. But overall, in general, I think that if they do continue to do what they're doing with Cold War, Zombies is going to be pretty decent this year. Only thing that I hope they do add into the game is I hope they go back to some more OG perks like Widow's Wine, PhD, Meal Kick. Bring back some of the OG perks. Would be really nice to see them return again, because I feel like they would blend right into this game. Like, we do need a PhD for when you're like using a rocket launcher or something like that, so you just don't shoot the floor in front of you and just die that way. Has happened way too many times with me recently when trying to go for the gold camo for the rocket launchers or the grenade launcher. It'd also be nice if they had a classic game mode in there where it was the armor was completely taken out, the rarity and everything like that was taken out, and it was just OG Zombies, which was you pack your gun is packed, it does more damage, it's basically you have Jug, and that's all you need right there is Jug and a packed weapon to survive. Not you need to get a certain tier for your weapon or a certain tier of armor. None of that stuff. Just make it OG classic Zombies. I know that's a lot to ask, but it'd be really cool if they could add that in the game. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the video. Let me know what you guys thought on what I do think of Cold War Zombies so far. Let me know down in the comment section. And I hope you all have a fantastic night or day, and I will see you all in the next video. It's your boy Audacity. Peace out.